Three, two, one. What's going on, Murder Yoga Nation? It's your boy C Tech with another episode of the Grind and Jiu Jitsu podcast, season two. We are back, everyone, and I brought a special guest all the way from Jersey, Amy-Lynn Camilli. How are you, Amy-Lynn?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing awesome. How are you doing today?
Doing fantastic. Taught the 6 a.m., going over some 10th Planet warm-ups, some Imanari rolls. So good start to the day. And coming from all the way from Jersey. So please, for the people who don't know who you are, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amy-Lynn Camilli. I'm a purple belt under Connor Dixon at the Cave Grappling Club in Franklinville, New Jersey. But I actually live down by Atlantic City. That's where my full-time life is. I just train in Franklinville over at the Cave. So, come check us out if you're in the area. It's just over the bridge from Philly.
Oh, I used to chill in Camden. I used to live in Belmar, New Jersey, all the way down south next to Cherry Hill. Yeah, long story. Uh, we got introduced by our mutual friend. Shout outs to Ant versus Evil Design. He was like, dude, like, are you looking for people? Because I have this young lady and she's been killing it lately. And I was like, I mean, yeah, if they have a little bit of credentials and they're not afraid to talk to the pod, absolutely. So then he sends me your Instagram and I start taking a look. I'm like, then I go to the YouTube and I'm like, okay, she grinding out here. She grinding out here. So how long have you been doing jujitsu for?
I've been training for a little over 3.5 years now. Yeah, I'm always competing. I went a little ham in September and competed almost every weekend. So I got to slow down a little bit, but I just came off an injury and I was so excited to compete again. So I was just like I hit the gas pedal.
And then you're actually competing next weekend, correct? This
This
weekend coming
weekend
up.
on Saturday, yeah, Hammer Challenge.
Yeah, take my time.
Oh yeah, Hammer Challenge Series, 135 pound and under Grand Prix bracket. So I'm going to be competing for
Mm.
$1,000. It's a tough bracket though. There's a lot of monsters in it, so it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a real test, and it's just jujitsu at the end of the day. So just out there to
Very
live
true.
it.
Very true. Is it a purple belt bracket or it's
Purple, brown, black.
purple, brown, black? So now going into now, I'm also a purple belt who goes into black belt divisions to see if I can pull off the upset of the century. Um, so this is really cool because now I get to hear from a grappler of the opposite sex. Like, what is it? How is it for you going into? I'm a purple belt. These ladies have been doing this a lot longer than I have, but I've been training my ass off. Like, what's your mentality going into that situation?
So I've been an active athlete since I was 3 years old. So, and I've been competing for almost all of my life in some sport or another. So, when I look at jujitsu, I'm like, all right, look, it's just jujitsu. You do this every day. You're just here to have fun, get the experience of being out on the competition mats, and just don't get hurt. So that's my three things: have fun. It's just jujitsu. Don't get hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm almost 40. So like that kind of goes out the window, especially competing, because you're kind of like signing on the dotted line, like, hey, you're getting older, so you might break something.
No, that's. I mean, I'm almost 35, so I feel you.
Okay, all right. So we're there. We're there. We're
Yeah,
there. I'm
I'm there.
37.
One more
I'm
time,
37.
we're not here
I
to
know
get
what
hurt.
you mean.
We're here to have fun and do jujitsu. So I will tap fast. I don't care if
Absolutely.
I lose. I hate losing, don't get me wrong, but I am not trying to have something broke.
Now, is are you doing jujitsu full time? Are you just training while working a full-time job? Like,
I work a full-time job still. I'm a political consultant for campaigns actually. So, it's a
awesome.
little bit of busy season, but we're kicking butt. And then I train as much as I can. Like I do jujitsu 5 times a week at least. I try and get up to Muay Thai every once in a while. I practice and teach yoga. Like I go to the gym. So my schedule is kind of designed around working out and training with a full-time job.
Dude, that's kind of crazy. Like, oh, hello, Amy Lynn, how are you? Oh, very well. And then freaking afterward, just, oh, sir! Arm drag, collar tie. Now, are
Yeah,
you
I
prime?
produced a comedy show, and one of my comics was laughing. He goes, "I met you." I was like, he's like talking about you. He's like, "You're so sweet and so nice." And da 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 da. And he goes, and then they were like, "Yeah, but have you looked at her Instagram?"
Dude, like just
Yeah.
that is absolutely. I was just about to. It was in regards to this. Anyway, Atlantic. So you train down at Atlantic. You said you live in Atlantic City,
I live right outside of Atlantic City.
right outside Atlantic City. So you train. So are you predominantly gi or no gi, or just a
Ooh, see,
mix?
I train both. I love
Okay.
both.
Okay.
I
Okay.
compete in no gi much more frequently than the gi, but I'm gonna start doing some local tournaments again and get myself back into gi comp mode. So I'll get there. Just the super fights are no gi. Like they're so much easier to come by.
Yeah, no, it is, and I don't know. It's just the flow. It no gi is so much fun because there's a flow to it. Regardless of if you get dominated, if you know jujitsu, you can at least make it an exciting match. You might go down, but you can make it exciting if you really know what you're doing, and that's how I kind of like approach it. On submission grappling series. I mean, the kid was like I think 21,
Yeah.
6'3". I'm 5'6", 225 pounds. I am a short guy. And I went into this octagon with this young stud and I had a hell of a match. Took it to overtime and barely lost in overtime. So no sub. You know what I mean? He didn't get to sub. So it was an accomplishment for me. Like, hey, like we're really trying out here. Like, I'm just trying to show that I can actually pull off the jitsu. What about you? Like, what are you seeing the same young ladies all around in every single tournament, or is it now a vast majority of just different opponents every single time you compete?
I wish there's so few of us that a lot of us have competed against each other. Now that I'm competing with the brown and black belts, I'm at least getting new competition, which is awesome. But for the last 3 years I've been competing, it's been a lot of the same girls. We're just like a lot of us are friends at this point. We're just like, yeah, all right, we're just gonna like have fun after this, and we'll train together when this match is over. And and
That's cool.
it's been cool. So I've been able to build a lot of relationships because it's a lot of the same girls. But now, like now I say, like there's a little bit like the bracket that I'm in now, I haven't competed against most of the girls in it. There's a couple that I have, but most of them I haven't. So it'll be a brand new experience, and which is awesome because it has been so hard to find new opponents. Especially like I'm
It
one of the smaller girls. There's just not a lot of us.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if you really put, you said you were doing the 135,
Yeah, and
120.
I've been competing at
Okay.
125. So
What's
I'm like, all right, time to like bump up a weight class, put on some muscle because 125 I ain't finding matches anymore.
Yeah, that is difficult. And even for the men, I know the 135 guys, they're far and few. Um, that's so cool.
Mhm.
And so who are you training under? What professor are you training under?
I trained under Connor Dixon at the Cave Grappling Club.
That's a cool name, The
Mhm.
Cave.
He's the caveman.
Okay. All right. Yo,
Yeah,
that's
he's
it.
exciting. He's going to be out at, was it AIGA or whatever it is in California this weekend. He's on the 10th Planet Bethlehem team finishers. Zach and Zach
Oh,
competing
I
on
know
that this
I
weekend.
know
That's
Zach.
so be on the lookout for Connor Dixon competing this weekend too.
All right, Connor Dixon competing this weekend with Zach Mislaney of Bethlehem. Also, shout out to JM too.
Oh, yeah.
Man, those are really cool dudes. I've met them many times. I'm a 10th Planet guy. If you haven't already noticed. Okay, so and I mean just to make it to the team. I mean, and knowing Zach and knowing JM and to actually be a part of that crew and them actually asking you to get on the team. That's what's up.
It's what's
That's
up.
what's up.
He's really getting it. He's not on the title fights this weekend, but he'll be having a title shot there. So he's moving up in the world for sure and starting to compete at that real high class, high level jujitsu. He won the Atlantic City Open, I think, and so like he's up there and he's awesome to train under. I feel like I'm learning more jujitsu from him in just the year that I've been training specifically under him than like I mean, granted, I learned a ton of jujitsu before that, of course.
Absolutely.
But I'm like, all of a sudden, it all makes sense, and the methodology behind how he's teaching. I'm competing differently, so it's real exciting. And I love training in that gym. We just have such a fun team. We're still growing, but it's just everyone's there to support each other, and it's great. Like I couldn't ask for anything better than
That's so sick. And how's your
that.
training been? So now you're going into the 135 bracket. You've competed a bunch of times, you said in September. So now preparing for this, like how long was your training camp for this, getting ready for this tournament?
Well, I feel like I've just been in perpetual training camp since September, to be honest. I just haven't stopped. So I've just, it's just maintenance and making sure I'm getting to the gym, getting my sessions in, I'm keeping my diet healthy, which was super hard this weekend because I had a Halloween event that I was like in the middle of the woods. And I was like, well, it's like hard to pack or something like that. And you're like cold. And I have hot apple cider and candy. And I'm like, oh, just don't do it.
Candy apples and oh
All
man.
the good stuff. But so what's nice is I didn't have to cut any weight for this one. It was really just maintaining where I kind of walk around at, which is what I like about this weight class. Hard to make 125. That sucks.
Because you never compete at 100%. Like, I mean, even if you hydrate properly, it's not the same. It's
No,
really not.
girls, it's so hard for the weight to come off sometimes. Like I have one of those bodies that does not want to lose weight. It is like we are comfortable right here. We're staying. And I've got a lot of muscle too, so that doesn't like it's just it makes more sense for me to stay where I am, maintain and just compete at 135. Like I don't go down to 130 maybe, but
Even
I'm
your
trying
hair
to
likes to
get
grapple.
it complicated anymore.
I'm looking at your hair. It's grappling with you right now.
Oh my God. Well, I'm getting ready. I'm going to be leaving. As soon as we're done this, I'm going to training. So,
Okay, no, and then you got to prepare, especially this weekend. What? All right, so now that you have your training schedule, you have the tournament this weekend. When do you stop? Do you stop training? Do you only do light work from now on? Like, what does going into the tournament for this weekend? This, I believe, Saturday, correct, or Sunday? It's
Saturday.
Saturday, so it's coming up Saturday, so it's in 4 days. When do you slow down? Do you not slow down? Is it more just hydration or just movement? What's your usual going right up to that tournament?
So, going into the week of, I switched my workouts in like the lifting to all kettlebell, like 15-minute AMRAPs and just a lot of sauna time just to keep everything cardio up and a lot more cardio that goes into it the week of. I'll train hard at in jujitsu probably until Friday morning. After my
Okay.
morning session on Friday, I'll be like, all right, it's time to chill. And like, I'll go move around Friday night, have a good warm up on Saturday, and like just hit it. I feel like as long as I keep the momentum going, I'm safe, especially not cutting weight. I don't have to worry about my water intake. I don't have to worry about my food intake. I can have full meals. I can drink my electrolytes every day. I can drink like as much water as I want. I don't have to fit stress, which I think is a big part of it for me. Like I can still train hard this week, which is awesome. So I feel like I'll really go into this bracket at 100%.
Oh, that's awesome. And now 3 years in the jiu-jitsu journey, were there any so like when I started jiu-jitsu, like my one of my friends was the one who even introduced me to jiu-jitsu. He was like, "Hey, there's this guy, his name is Marcelo Garcia, and it'll change your life forever." All right. And then it changed my life forever. 12 years after. So for yourself, 3 years in, like who was the first grappler that was you gravitated to, saw their game and was like, "Ah, yes."
Oh, Craig Jones, actually. That's the first instructional I got. I got his Z Guard instructional and I watched it on a flight to Thailand.
Greg Jones
I was
from the
like, oh,
down under.
fun. Like I like that style. I think my one training partner, so my one coach, Jenny, she's made fun of me since I was a white belt that I should have just been a 10th planet person. Like I'm just bendy and flexible and she'll literally be saying something and then she goes, just don't try and use it on Amy-Lynn. She's too bendy for it.
Oh man. No, but that's cool. I mean
No,
that's really cool, actually. You're the first person to say that, and it just shows like it depends on when you get into jujitsu. Like, who's that number one grappler? And Marcelo was definitely number one back when I started. And it's true. Craig Jones has been one of the faces of jujitsu for the last 5 years, and now we're starting to see. Hey, I saw Craig Jones,
yeah.
got me into it. He talks shit. He know, yeah, you know.
People are like the first bigger grapplers. Like a friend of mine got me in. She's like, you just have to come do it. Like once you do it, you're gonna love it. I know you. And that was true. She was right. Once I tried it, I loved it. And then yeah, like that's but Craig Jones, I started watching him and I was like, shut up. Like that's so fun.
He's cool and he's so out of the box when with his jiu-jitsu that now I'm starting to see everybody has a I always saw 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu as so different than the traditional jiu-jitsu that was being taught all around. And I think that's what made me gravitate towards it because man, like I started jiu-jitsu in this traditional gym. I really didn't like the vibe. And then I start chilling with these guys and I'm like, these guys are pretty freaking cool, man. Like, I think I
Yeah.
want to keep going. And then it ties in, and that it's crazy. So Craig Jones, what anything in particular? So you said you're working on Z guard. Are you more of a you go for the legs? What's your primary attack, or you're just very all around?
At that point, I was dealing with a knee injury, so I couldn't do any stand up and top game. So I was like, well, I'll just focus on my guard. And I like Z guard. It's like that half guard and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I'm real comfortable as far as my guard goes. But now that I am healthy again, I'm trying to focus more on getting up, wrestling up to the top, using top pressure, and really being more dominant and controlling in my matches instead of just defaulting to guard and trying to get an entanglement to get up into the arms.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your training partners, like how do your training partners try to stop all of this new wave jiu-jitsu getting ready for a tournament? So kind of mentality, it's almost not a I'm gonna kill you mentality, but it is a mentality like I have to continuously pursue that next position. How do your training partners deal with you in that competitive aspect getting ready for a tournament?
Well, a lot of them are guys, so they just outdude me. They'll literally do something and be like, "You would have had that, but I'm bigger than you." And I'm like, "Well, then just tap, jerk. Like, let me like if I got the pass, let me get the pass. You don't gotta bench press me off of you." But no, a lot of they're so great. Like the guys take it as an opportunity to work on technique. So I mean, it helps. The size definitely helps with the technique sometimes, but they're very accepting of the fact that they know I'm not going to be going easy, especially this week. Like I think anyone that rolls with me this week is prepared for that. The white belts, like I'll be nice to the white belts. Anyone else, they know it's game on, and like to just give me all the looks, react however you're going to react, go just as hard against me. That's what I need, that's what I want in the training room, especially the week of a comp. Like use every technique you have against me, try and stop me, and I'm going to figure it out. Like give me the puzzle, I want it.
Boss. What's your go-to? Like what regular training, not even regular training. You go in, you don't know this person, okay? So somebody walks into the gym to an open mat, okay? They already went with a few white belts and now they want to roll with you. Like first thing, well, I don't want to give away for your opponents. You know what? I don't want to give your opponents anything just in case this comes out before the tournament. But what's usually your go-to in the last 6 months?
um well, I just like I can rely on my arm bar. So if someone's giving me a hard
Okay.
time, I'm gonna take their arm somehow. Like that's usually what happens. Some guys out muscling me, and I'm like, all right, dude, you gotta learn today, and I'm just taking your arm with me. Your arm is
Some
how you're gonna learn. But like that's just kind of my thing. I'm like, I feel like I can always find an arm bar no matter where I'm at. So I definitely like that's my back pocket for sure.
That's awesome. No, that's cool. And we won't get any more disclosure on your game because
That's
it's
I'm just
too
looking at my
close.
Instagram and see that it's arm bars.
I mean, yeah,
But
okay.
arm bars and
So,
straight ankle locks. Like I got my first RNC at finishers a few weeks ago. I was more pumped that I finally got an RNC than I even cared about winning.
overtime or straight regulation?
Straight up regulation. Climbed
That's
it
what
back and do tactics.
I
It was fun.
that's the way that yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good way to finish it, especially not from overtime. Oh yeah. Oh
No,
yeah, that's
it's
earned. That's
uh,
definitely earned. So I have a funny question that I ask all my guests. Have
okay.
you ever talked shit to a training partner and paid the ultimate price with an L?
All the time.
So most of the dudes that come on here, they all say, nah, not really. Even my best friend, that I train with, maybe a little bit. You're very literally the first
Oh
person
my
that
god,
said,
I talk shit to the guys
absolutely.
all the time. I'm in the middle of rolling with them talking shit. I don't care. And like I don't mean whatever. The guy bench presses me off him. I'm like, oh, big strong man.
Oh, I
And
picked
then I'm
things
in
up
box
and
match
put them
back for the
down.
rest of the round. And like it is what it is.
How's rolling with the professor?
Oh my god. So I had another black belt I know rolled with him, and he said the best way I could ever describe it is being like a baby deer on ice. It's like you
Okay.
think you're like, oh, I'm doing something, and it's like, no, he let you do that so he could do that.
Baby deer on ice. That's actually really good. I never heard that one yet.
You know what? I was like, that's exactly what it is. You feel like a baby deer on ice. Like no matter what you do, he's doing something better.
Dude, that's great.
His,
And
his
so you
intelligence
have
IQ is so high when it comes to jujitsu and competing and like just rolling in general. He is 3 steps ahead of you no matter what. Probably more than
and
that. I'm saying three. It's probably way more than three.
like all professors, like
Literally.
great. It sometimes. So I was going with Professor Ben Saunders down here in 10th Planet Orlando, and we're having such a great match. And he gets onto my back, and he's 6'2", 6'3". He reminds me of Slender Man.
I was
Okay,
gonna say just
but with
long.
muscles, yeah, but with muscles, and like there's a triangle coming from everywhere, right? And
Hmm.
I'm like, I'm ready for that. No, I'm not.
You're not.
I'm
No
not.
matter how
I'm
ready you are,
not.
you're never actually ready. That's how I
I'm
feel. I'm
not.
like, oh yes, and then no, I'm still in something else now. Or
It
exactly what I was
gets
trying to avoid. That's what I always end up in.
it gets that. So what's just some of your aspirations for the rest of the year? I mean, December's right around the corner. We got 2024 in less than what, 4 months, if that. So what are some of your aspirations coming up after, let's just say after this tournament? Let's say you come out victorious, which most likely you are. Okay.
Oh, let's hope.
I got you. I got you.
Manifest that for me. Um, I'm gonna definitely compete again in November, maybe some tournaments. December, I don't think I will. I've got a bunch of family stuff. We're taking my mom to do some Michael Jackson Broadway thing up in New York. So we're doing that. And then with family Christmas and Christmas holidays and work. And so December is probably going to be a no compete month. But
Yeah.
like it's not going to, I'm still going to keep my foot on the gas pedal as far as training goes and just go into 2025 ready to kick it and just restart the comp season again all over
All
perpetual
over
fight.
again. Damn right. And any idea if ADCC maybe the trials may be in the works? Are you thinking of at least preparing yourself for it?
Definitely going to give it a go now that I'm healthy this time around. So that's definitely on my radar. I want to definitely do some more IBJJF this year. Now that I can like really compete, I had to take almost a year off where I just couldn't really compete at a high level. So now that I can, I'm going to. So I'm definitely do an ADCC opens and trials. Definitely gonna do some more IBJJFs and get into pans and all that good stuff, and just try and climb up through those rankings and do the best I can. Try and get on some of these other bigger promotions. Maybe a little Medusa action. I really want to do some combat jiu-jitsu.
Oh, that'll be
I
sick.
want to
That'll
do.
be sick. That'll be sick.
I love it. I love striking. Like I met Anthony through Muay Thai. And then I'm just like, I don't make it there as much as I want to, but like I still train it. I still train the MMA stuff. So I would love to do some combat jujitsu. That's definitely on my radar 2025. I
That
know there
that
and
I
there's one that's in December and I'm just like, I can't commit to that.
I wish. I mean, I
I
was thinking because it's right around my birthday weekend, so I was like, man, can I really afford to do this?
right. I can afford to do it, and that's also the weekend that we're doing stuff for my mom. So I'm like, well, that's not happening.
Well, yeah, that throws
I
a
can't pick
wrench.
on Mama Duke. That would be wrong.
No, that's sick. That's sick. I mean, ADCC is one of those, but you said that it now it was you said a knee injury?
Yes, yeah. I had tore my meniscus and my MCL.
And how, so you said the recovery took almost a year. Any surgery or is it more PT?
Done, and then I rushed back, and then I competed and got a little bit more hurt than I already was, and then got PRP done again, and actually took the time off to heal it totally. So it was like a rough year of like healing, doing the wrong things, healing again.
Mm. Now, during healing, no jujitsu never didn't touch it, or it was like very minor.
Well, when I did it correctly this second time around, I actually didn't train for about 6 weeks, I want to say. And then once I did, I was just doing really light drilling and I was very selective about even who I would drill with. So that I did that and just did like a lot of rehab stuff, a lot of knees over toes guy and the slant board dude, and focused really, really heavy on that kind of recovery before I started upping jujitsu a little bit more.
No, that's an awesome point that you just brought up. A lot of people is like, when you just first out of jiu-jitsu, you do have a choice of who you roll with. If they're way more experienced and you see they're a little bit more aggressive, maybe not roll. Well, it also comes to the injury part of it now. So yeah, my shoulder's messed up, and I know that this dude has a really good shoulder lock, and he's not very nice. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't go with that person. Have you ran into any close calls while training? Oh,
Sure. Well, I feel like I took more risk and more close calls when I was newer, and I think I was more. I don't want to say nervous to say no, but it was that I didn't want to say no yet. Like I just wanted to have every single role. I'm like, well, I'm here to do this, so I'm going to say yes. And then those close calls make you be like, you know what? I'm an adult and I'm allowed to say no to whomever I want, and I
right.
will. And I'll be honest with somebody, like, look, like you go a little too rough when you go with me. Like you have something to prove, and I don't appreciate that. It's not safe for me, and I'm not going to put myself in that situation. Or like I tell the guys, I'm like, dude, you're just too big for me to roll with. Like you're gonna just sit on top of me and mount, and I'm not down for that. That's not gonna help either of us get any better.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And that's why they always say, if it's big purple belt, white belt comes through the door. I teach the 6 a.m.s at my home gym. And I mean, am I supposed to go 100% with a white belt? No, absolutely not. But, let them work their stuff. And if they make me, all right, I have a rule. If I taught something today, I'm going for it. If I'm teaching you triangle defense, I'm going to put you in a triangle.
Right.
Show me what I just taught you.
I do that to the white belt for sure. But then my professor does it to me, and I'm like, I know what I'm trying to avoid. It makes me so angry. Not angry. I shouldn't say it doesn't make me angry, but it makes me. I'm like, what is going on? Like I am smarter than this. I am intelligent.
Eh, I say that we just had a student and he goes, yeah, I keep getting caught in this. And I'm like, listen, you've been training for, I'm gonna say, a year, all right? And you're rolling with very experienced, you're complaining about you're a white belt. You're
Yeah.
complaining about a purple belt. Not complaining. I'm not saying complaining, but he's just like frustrated. It's like, dude,
Oh my god.
there's
Yeah. When you
nothing there's nothing to be
think
frustrated
over and
about.
over again, you're like, what am I doing wrong here?
I
And
was like,
sometimes
when you
when
get
you're
right
not yet,
there.
you gotta get there. You're just not there.
You got to keep getting coin until you get fed up. See how you're feeling right now? Now you're gonna really focus on really stopping it now.
You know,
So
doing like you'll start keeping your arms in if you get caught in an arm bar enough times.
that's true. That's true. So
That's
are you
I go, I just keep my arms in. I go, I'm not going for arm bars on you. Relax. I know I can get an arm bar on you. That's not what I'm working. I'm working something specific that I don't hit on anyone else.
how's your Imanari roll?
Not great.
Not great? Okay.
No,
Okay.
no, I don't. You know what? I haven't worked on that in a long time. Not gonna lie. I do invert a lot, but like I said, I've really been
That's
trying to
close
focus
enough.
my top game again recently. So I've not that I've abandoned my guard. I'm just trying not to default to it so much anymore.
Yeah. I so I'm running into the problem where now I've been playing on my back so long that my top game has suffered. Not it hasn't suffered a lot because once I get the sweep, I mean I'm it's
Yeah,
whatever. Whatever. You kind of get where I'm going.
I get it.
But I'm playing on my back so much that my top game is like, like maybe I need to start spending more time on top. But then I'm I'm teaching. Most of my students are lower than purple belt, blue belts, white belts. So it's like, how do I actually play top game without them looking at me like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, you're crushing, you're so good, you know? And it's yeah. So that's one of the quarrels that we go with. But everything has been going good. Thank God. Still got a job. That's a win in my book. I do IT, so IT and jujitsu, and my life is totally consumed with this podcast also.
That's
Um,
awesome.
so working a full-time job, what do your bosses think knowing that you're such a badass that you actually can choke half of the staff out?
Well, luckily I work for myself and I just get hired 1099 style for campaigns. So my
Contractual,
candidates,
okay.
some of them are really funny. They're just like, remind me to never piss you off. And I'm like, if you piss me off once, you'll remember not to. But like
Or
people are,
not remember.
yeah, you're right. But and like my staff that works with me, they've known me for a long time. Some of them have known me before I did jujitsu, and they're like, "You were always intimidating, but now it's a little scarier."
Yeah.
I'm like,
When
"No,
and
like unless someone physically assaults me, like I'm not touching anybody. Like the last thing I want to do is fight you."
have you ever had to kind of not use it, but was there ever any instance during work that you were like, this is getting a little too sticky. We might have to go to defensive maneuvers here.
Not really at work. The only time I've used something kind of like self-defense jujitsu-ish was I was teaching a 6 a.m. yoga class in Atlantic City. And there was one day where the parking lot situation got real funky and some guy was coming down the street yelling at me about parking. And I was like, okay, hands up. Like, I hear you and I need you to stop moving towards me. And it was like that, it was like the Gracie combative stuff clicked in my head. And I was like, whoa, like, stay back. I hear you. I'll move my car. I will let everybody know. Like, I need you to not come closer. And it worked. That man, like, stopped dead. And he was like, okay, all right, all right. I'm like, okay, just keep it moving. Do not make me do something. I don't want to. Too early for this. It's 5:30 in the morning.
And it's scary because even me. So I there was one situation at like a Sea World, and you never know who they're with. You never
Yeah.
know. So there's always that little, like sometimes, you kind of blank out and it's just an automatic thing. But when you're really thinking about it before that point of everything just snaps into place, it's just that unknown, that dude, is this really about to happen right now? And like we simulate it all the time in the gym, but it's like it's different in real life. That adrenaline really starts to take over. Your fight or flight starts to pump.
Like, you never know if someone has a knife or a gun, and like that makes me nervous too. Like, sure, maybe I know all this stuff, but that doesn't stop them if they have a knife. Like, I'm the one in trouble in that situation. So it's
And
like
in
I really
Atlantic
try.
City.
And in Atlantic City, you're telling me. And it's like I've been in Atlantic City where I was in one part of like a housing complex, and in the other part a kid shot at another kid, and like that happens, that's real, and I'm like, I'm just glad I'm not over there. And you have to be, I think it made me much more aware of what's happening around me. Like I was always kind of, oh, I see, and now I'm like, no, I see.
Yeah,
So
your
yeah.
awareness, it's like you get that third eye, and it's like, that looks like a weird place to walk down right now.
Mhm.
Let's change routes. Let's see, are there more people on that side of the street? Let's go with where a lot of people are,
Right, yeah, I
like
can
just
definitely
those.
walk out with my dog. I've got a big dog, so I'd be like, I'll just walk with the
Yeah.
dog, and people kind of like recognize him, so they start recognizing me, and the people in the bar be like, "Oh, all right." They'd call him Scooby because he looked like Scooby Doo. He doesn't
Oh,
anymore. He used to.
Sherry.
He did. This is Scooby's mom, and I'm like, call him whatever you want, just like don't fuck with me.
Just don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. Uh,
Yeah,
So, all right. So, Jersey, I don't know how much time you have. I won't take up too much. I know you said you're training today, and
dude, I
you
gotta get going in a
definitely
couple minutes.
you
So
have to get going. So let's go with our down. So there's a chance for ADCC. Yeah, for next year, I believe it's probably going to be probably most likely East Coast trials. I'll say East Coast trials, right?
trials, I'll hit up some opens, get the feel for it.
Get some feel for tournaments. Any Nagas or anything coming up where you're like kind of eyeing after this tournament, or it's like
There's
up in the
a
air?
good fight in like December 7th and up in North Jersey, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll go do that. I'm definitely going to be doing some like grappling industries, Nagas, good fights, things like those local tournaments are definitely more on my radar over the next few months, and definitely going into next year just to get back in tournament mode. I've been really just like super fight, super fight, super fight, super fight, and I need to get back into more than one match a day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anybody in that bracket that you're kind of excited to maybe go against?
And the one this weekend,
This one this weekend.
Lauren Sears is in my bracket. She is a
Ooh,
beast. Oh my
yeah,
god. So
I know
like I
Sears.
gladly lose to her if I have to. But like I think it's gonna be fun. Like she's so good, and I'm just excited to even be like I'm in the same bracket as her, and that's exciting. I hope I get to go against her just to test myself and like see how much better someone like her is than me. Because reality is she is, and so just to like have that learning experience is exciting.
I mean, just the fact that you're gonna go into this tournament as a purple belt, which I mean, nowadays in jiu-jitsu, belts really don't matter. We already know, like, it does it does it sound cool? Yeah. Like it sounds really cool. Like purple belt wins black belt at the end of the day, But belts really don't matter. And I mean, it's all about your preparation. And sometimes if it's your day, it's your day. Like if you're on one, you're on one. Everybody has that open mat feeling that they go to the open mat. It's 10 rounds. And after your third round, you're like, dude, I am freaking killing it right now.
In the zone. Jiu-jitsu is my world.
One with jujitsu, like you start seeing everything like the Matrix, you're like, dude, like I'm
I
there.
understand this stuff, and then you get smashed your next round. You're like, I don't understand anything.
Yeah. So let
Damn, I thought I understood it there for a second.
so for the people who don't know how to get in contact with you for anything future jiu-jitsu related, tournament related, where can they find you?
On my Instagram. Well, I can't. I'm sorry. I've been speaking all day. On my Instagram, I'm at Amy-Lynn with 4 N. So AMYLYNNNN. That's my Instagram. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. And Dealing Words Comedy on Instagram is my comedy Instagram for the show that I produce. That's also a great way to get in touch with me if you don't remember that there's 4 N's on that Amy-Lynn.
Or ends on Lynn.
4 N's on Lynn.
Can't go wrong. Like that's the easiest thing to remember. And real briefly, so tell us just a quick synopsis of your comedy show.
I produce a comedy show every other Thursday at Bar 32 in Atlantic City on Tennessee Avenue. It's called Dealing Words Comedy. I deal with a lot of local Atlantic City, Jersey, and Philly comics. Every once in a while, some of the New York guys pop by. It's a small chocolate bar. They actually make the chocolate in house, and they have awesome cocktails and a great food selection. And their desserts are obviously phenomenal.
Oh, dude. All right. So if you're doing comedy shows with New Yorkers, Jerseyans, and Phillies, you know what? Yeah, you know comedy pretty well. You know what? Next time I go up north, I think when I get back home, I'll take a trip to Atlantic City. I might stop by and go to a little comedy joint.
I'll be here. You let me know. Now you know my
No,
Instagram.
now I think I sent you a follow. I got you already. I got you already. Any other shout outs you would like to give? Any charities? Anything that you want to shout out?
No, not right now. Just like I said,
Sponsors?
I am at oh yeah, Chopped and Carried. I should probably shout them out. They are an awesome local Jersey company. They do some of the best rash guards. I love competing in the rash guards. They actually do our gym rash guards and our gym gear. So Chopped and Carried, look them up on Instagram too. Like I said, the Cave Grappling Club under Connor Dixon. We're building and like we're just here for support and learning jujitsu and getting better every day. So come train with us.
That's super sick. And thank you so much again for coming onto the podcast. Super short notice. And hey, it came out so good.
We
Thank you
making it
so
work.
much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you even coming on, and I know your crazy training schedule with work, and you're competing this Saturday, so really appreciate it, and good luck to you. I hope you take that dub, and if you take that dub, we'll get back onto the podcast so we can actually talk about your journey to through that tournament, even win or lose. That would be really really cool. Thank you so much again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Hopefully, I'll be back soon with some wins to talk about.
Yeah, so and that's episode 2 of the Grind and Jiu-Jitsu podcast. Like, comment, follow, subscribe. Special shout out to Ant versus Evil Design. He designs the flyers for this podcast. Link this podcast up. I really appreciate him, and I don't think I would have even continued doing this podcast without his support, to be completely honest with you. So please like his Instagram link will be in the bio. Catch this on YouTube and Spotify. Have a good one. Peace.
Uh,
We're